Well, we've reached the end of the book, and I know you're saying to yourself, no, JB, I really want to hear your voice more. Please add some chapters. If you're saying it like that, it's a little hurtful, to be honest with you. No, listen, thank you for sticking with us for the semester. And again, as many of you know, a lot of this stuff in quality service, you're sitting there shaking your head reading it going, this is such common sense stuff. And you're probably right, but here's the problem. We don't have courses and books about it if it's perfect every single time. And that's the problem. So what do they want? Let's study them and find out. Let's determine their wants. Let's determine their expectations, because if we don't have realistic expectations for service with the guest and they don't match, then it's pointless, because we're not giving them what they feel they should get from our organization or our facility. And that's going to be a problem, and you won't be successful. Extra wow. Yeah, any chance you get to do something above and beyond what is expected or what is, for lack of a better word, the norm, do it. And they'll notice that difference, and they'll come back for that little extra, whatever that is. So strategies. Again, as much as you can, yes, the basics are important. Yes, the wows are also amazing in how we do that. And like we said, study. Look at different things that are successful for other organizations. You don't steal. You don't mimic them, but you can take a piece and say, what I like about their first contact is that to me it seems like their first contact with the guest occurs at this point, and I think that's smart. And we need to try to figure out a way to get a contact with the guest at that point as well. Or how they provide feedback, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Get as much information as you can, both good and bad. What are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? How do we fix it? How do we make what we're doing right even better? And the more information you have, if you remember in Chapter 13, if you heard me speak, I talked about keeping a log of everything. That's the kind of information that you get. Hey, you know what? When we have a long ticket time, I remember something that worked pretty well. As much as we can personalize service with the fact that we walk around with our phones everywhere, and with the fact that we do a lot of things from our devices, the more that we can personalize service, the better off we are. And I have to tell you, and you can mock Disney, and you've heard me talk about Disney quite a bit, and again, because I have kids, that's why I do that, but those son of a guns personalize their service. Sending stuff probably once a month addressed to my kids that is specific to what a 9-year-old would love about going to the parks. Hey, we noticed your mom and dad and you haven't been here in a while. And it's like, nice. Plan. For quality service, why do we put capacity, location, design, and selection? Because service is only as good as where we're going to do the service. And if we have bottlenecks in design, if we have a capacity that we're constantly on a wait's a great problem. It means that people like what you're doing, but is it so long that you're losing business? Because people are like, oh, we never go there. We hear it's fantastic, but the wait's always an hour and a half. Location, usually, if you're very, very good, will people come to your location? They usually will. But if you're in a very, very good area that people go to anyway, you pay a lot more money, and you're going to have to make that up somehow. So it's kind of a catch-22, and you have to weigh the good with the bad in that. Constant feedback. Student evaluations. The old paper student evaluations are pretty much gone. And I can tell you as an instructor, the thing that used to frustrate us the most about that was we would get the feedback halfway through the next semester. So if someone says, hey, the class is very interesting, but we cannot stand to hear our instructor talk over the slides, well, I'm halfway through the next semester and I'm doing it again before I decide that's not the approach I should take. So I like the constant feedback of you fill out these evaluations and I get them shortly after finals are over. That's great. I have a chance to improve before the semester starts again. That's, I think, a really good example of it. Culture fills in the gap. You are going to do exactly what the organization tells you they want you to do. And so if that is, hey, we go above and beyond for service, and we really treat the guests like this, and we always say you do whatever it takes to satisfy the guest, okay. Then you know where you stand. But that was off the cuff what I just said, and that's important. You got to sit there and think through what is the culture of service at our organization. And so you know exactly what is expected of you and what you can and can't do. I think you see a lot more organizations getting much more flexible with what they'll let their employees do to solve problems, and I think it's a brilliant strategy, because if you have to run and find your boss all the time, it takes too long. And we talk about those failures. That's when those failures happen. Oh, what a big surprise. Your staff matters. People make the difference. They do. Bullet point number 2, the right person for the job is usually incredibly difficult. I know exactly what I'm looking for. I trained bartenders and servers and front desk people for years. I know exactly what I want, and that's what I'm looking for. Training, key. If you get the job, you're not trained properly, you're going to leave. You're going to quit. You're going to go find another job. So you want to make sure that it's thorough, that it's well done, and that people are getting stuff out of it. Setting and reinforcing standards. I got hired 9 months ago. Have you had an evaluation? What? Okay, that's a problem. You need to have standards in place for every single thing, for employee evaluations, for the standard for what we will do to comp a meal is this. The standard for discounting a room night is this, so that everyone knows and you reinforce it constantly. And it's okay to change them too. Employee guests, listen, the guests know what they want out of your organization, so it's never a bad thing to employ them. Again, anytime you can, do simulations, and we talked about weighting, and we talked about all the aspects of weighting, the psychological aspects and capacity. So how do we make that where it is less invasive and cumbersome for the guest? I can tell you, as cheesy as it sounds, and I understand that they now have my information on my phone, but I don't want to carry around a huge pager that's like the size of my shoe and wait for it to light up. Hey, you're in this shopping center. You want a table? We have range all over the place. We'll text you when your table's ready. Go do some shopping. Go do whatever you want to do. When it's ready, we'll let you know. Fantastic. Love it. I'm not sitting there waiting. If there's a place to have a drink or two, not a big deal. But if there's not, I don't want to sit out there and be like, okay, and keep staring at my watch. My phone buzzes. I go back. I have a table. I love that has been an added feature personally. People make the difference. They do. Our industry is thriving, especially in the area that we're located in. So getting the right people is all of it. Service or price. Decide. Okay. Does a certain level of service come with a higher price? In some situations, it does. In some, it doesn't. I don't think that there's an excuse for, quote unquote, lower end food service establishments or lower end hotels to have bad service and just go, wow, what do you expect? We're cheap. No, not at all. Keeping your promises. Yesterday's wow is yesterday's wow. So what are you going to do today to impress, to make the next person that walks in the door of your resort go, holy moly, this is incredible. The server-customer interaction, one chance to make a first impression is a cheesy saying. Unfortunately, it's a cheesy, true saying. So what was our first interaction like? We talked about bad attitudes in Chapter 13 and stuff, and that's your first impression, you're done. You are all, if you're not already, you will be leaders in the field, in our field, or possibly in another field, we hope in ours. But as you lead, I like that leading from the front. I have always said, and will always say, and some of you work in hotels, if you want to be the general manager of the hotel and you've never really worked in housekeeping, you're not going to be successful. If you want to run a restaurant, you've never washed dishes, you're not going to be successful. Understanding the value of every position in your organization, in your property, at your establishment, in your organization is critical to good leadership, in my opinion. You're the one that leads the way in innovation. You're out front. And again, when I helped start businesses, I always got that feedback from a lot of my employees was, when the what hits the fan, you're right there with us. Did I want to be there with them? Not all the time, but I knew we wouldn't be successful if we weren't. So it wasn't like, oh, no, listen, I'm beyond that. I don't have to do that anymore. I did that a long time ago. We would have failed. So, that has always been my leadership style. My leadership style in service was always asking people to do something instead of telling them or demanding them. Listen, they knew if they weren't going to do their jobs, they weren't going to have a job. But I always said, could you please do this? Would you mind doing this? Can you do me a favor? That's just how I did it. I'm not saying that works for you. I'm not saying that's the ultimate strategy. Just saying it worked for me. But as you do it, and some of you are doing it right now, some of you are going to do it, it's going to be, how do you do it where it seems seamless? And quite frankly, seems a little effortless. It's difficult. And especially if you're in an organization where you've been promoted and you're moving up, because everyone's like, oh yeah, that's JB, man. He used to be a bartender here. Whatever. How do you keep that thing? Now you're a leader. Now you're in charge. Look at all the things that you have to manage. The mission, okay, service-oriented employees, incentives. Do I have what I need to be successful at my job? Sounds stupid, and it's huge. What do you need? You know why we're failing? Because we don't have this. And then the right measurement tools. If I do have evaluations, and I do sit down with you every 90 days, is it a thorough, accurate assessment of what you are supposed to be doing in your position? And is it the same? Is it consistent? Man, I'll tell you what, and you know this if you're listening to this and you've worked. Boss A, Boss B, Boss C, 3 different evaluations, 3 different scores. That's a problem. Okay? There should be a little bit of variance, but not the very top and the very bottom between 3 different personalities. Got to have that consistency. And you look at this, and you can read over this, and it's exactly what you think. Everything that you need, okay? And if you don't have it, these things happen. And all those things that you see on the right are going to doom our operation. We're done. So you look at all that, if you don't have a way to deliver it, if you, have inconsistent service, lackluster service, failed service, everything you think of, I don't think that I'm going to sit there in a meeting and go skills plus incentives plus resources, but I can talk about delivery of the service and how it works. If you have all those, which, listen, not always easy to do, but if you have it, look at what you get out of it. And I can tell you right now, your turnover is going to be very, very small. People are going to leave. People leave. That's what happens. That's the business that we're in. But if we do everything right, that's kind of mentioned here, it's going to happen a lot less. The very last slide that they have in this book is the most important one. It should, honestly, I need to go back and look. It should probably be the first slide of the first chapter. This is so true. We can think that we do everything great. We can try to do everything great. Bottom line is beginning and ending with the guest. And if they're not satisfied with our service, it does not matter. If our service doesn't match their expectations, it does not matter. And so it's key. It's key when, like, some of you, I hope some of you are sitting there right now going, I'm going to start my own business. I want to do this in hospitality. You should be focusing on what kind of service you're going to offer your guest before you do anything. It has to match. Study, study, study. So good luck in all your classes, and I hope you enjoyed this one, and have a great end of the semester. Good luck on all your finals.